everybody. Welcome back to another fantastic edition of Tie Talks. This month, I'm joined by the unbelievably fantastic Darren Steele. Darren is a Penn State grad. He is our incoming, now currently Penn State Shenango Alumni Society President. Darren, how's it going? How's your Friday?
Hey, it's great, Ty. TGIF. It's a beautiful day out today. Nice weather, so couldn't be happier. It's Friday. I graduated from Hickory High School, and I'm from Hermitage, Pennsylvania. So, really, I don't have the glamorous academic story coming in. So I was actually a student that struggled quite a bit in high school. I got out of high school, looked at a few other options. I had a few offers to some smaller schools, but Penn State's really where I wanted to be. Yeah. And there was a lady at Penn State Shenango at the time. Her name was Gail Gilchrist, and she was in admissions. And she, talked to my parents and myself, and they actually put me on what they call a provisional status to get in. So I had to achieve certain grades in my first semester, and then I would be accepted. So if any of you have seen the movie Rudy, it was kind of like Rudy without the really cool soundtrack. And that was Notre Dame, which isn't anything like Penn State, but similar. My first professor, and I started that summer actually. So I started in, I want to say maybe June or July, and I dove right in. And my first class was Algebra 2 with Jim Brennis. And
Jim's still here.
Yes, he was still there, and he was wonderful. And I had always really struggled with math and science. I loved it, but I struggled with it. And he realized right away that I had a learning disability. Okay. And I got a little tested for that and understood better. And I was given some more time on tests and stuff like that. And we realized I had a little dyslexia too. Yeah. So I went all through high school, really, and I love high school. I love being a Hickory High School grad. Right. But I think a lot of my struggles were just kind of went unknown. Maybe they just didn't know how to deal with it like they do now back then. But he picked up on it right away, and I had a couple other professors that helped me with that. And all of a sudden, I pulled off almost a high. I think I got a high B, and I had never gotten a high B in algebra before. Yeah. And it was like being immersed in the pools of wonder. I just love being at Penn State Shenango. And then, as I went down the line, same thing. I worked with some other great professors there who were near and dear to my heart. And really, that did more for me than just, it did a lot for me academically. But it helped forge a relationship with professors that I didn't have with teachers prior. And it really taught me about collaboration, taught me about working with others. To the point where, I really think I owe my success I had later on at main campus to the beginning foundation was laid for me at Penn State Shenango. Right. So that's why, Shenango is such a place to me. It's real near and dear to my heart. And actually this story I'm telling you right now, I've never shared with any. My wife knows the story of my parents. I've never actually spoken about this before. So I want to say it's not easy, but I'm revealing that to you. And it's never that easy for me to talk about because it's a little humiliating that I didn't come roaring out of, high school as one of my top 5 in the class or valedictorian or anything like that. But I became a much better student because of the people at Penn State Shenango. Right. And you were student government president. Is that correct? Yeah. So then you talk about diving in and really immersing yourself because I didn't hold any offices in high school. I mean, I was well liked, I guess. I had friends, played sports, and was a play-by-play announcer for a lot of teams, and had a lot of fun with that. I wrote for the school paper. I wrote for the Sharon Herald as an intern and kind of as a part-time guy. So here I am running for SGA. So I was student representative my freshman year, and then my sophomore there, I was SGA president. And then I ended up staying on a little semester longer to compete in other classes. And there was a lot of my friends at Shenango at the time. We had a program through Wheatland Tube where they would hire us on as part-time work. So there was there had to have been almost 25 of us that my friends at Shenango. We all started working at Wheatland too. Well, we've made a lot of money. Yeah. The steel mill in the summer. So the rules were you worked in the summer and you worked all holidays. So like when you had a Christmas break or a holiday break of any court, like everybody's going to a fun spring break. No, we had to be at the tube.
Right.
So, but you made such big paychecks,
Yeah.
and you paid for a lot of books, paid for a lot of classes and everything else. So yeah, it was interesting. So I stayed a little longer at Penn State Shenango than maybe my mom and dad wanted, but I just really loved it there.
Yeah. And then you did the 2+2, correct? And you went to the Belisario, now the Belisario College of Community.
Donald P. Belisario, yes. That has just been a wonderful experience going there. Picked up my communications degree with an emphasis in journalism and marketing. And actually, I also have another minor in American history. I have a lot. I have everything. I'm all over the place. But no, I had a special love for that. So when I was on campus there, I wrote for the Daily Collegian. I covered a lot of different sports, but covering PSU football and stuff like that was just amazing. And then I actually did at the time, I'm trying to remember the class. I want to say it was something like CI 495 or something like that, but it was almost a full year internship at the Bryce Jordan Center. So I worked there for a year as an intern, as an assistant to Bernie Punt, who is the head marketing director, PR director at the Bryce Jordan Center. So him and I were close. National accounts manager, so I cover like 32 Pella windows and doors stores. So I work with like 32 different stores between Ohio to Central PA down towards Gettysburg State College. So I get around quite a bit, and I'm in charge of helping people develop their sales skills, marketing our product, training them, monitoring sales, sales volume, deliveries, stuff like that. So it's a lot. Many. Dancing and Thon twice was great.
Yeah, that doesn't beat that.
It's hard to beat Dancing and Thon. And I'm actually still very good friends with my Thon family to this day. We still see, like I just saw them year before all this pandemic hit. I saw them the year before that. We met for dinner when I was out in Gettysburg working, because they were from York area. Yeah. So I'm still tight with them this day. And I went to, so I was a member of Tau Phi Delta fraternity, Treehouse, and we're the only professional hunting and fishing fraternity in the country. Yep. And, but I was fraternity there, and I danced and Thon twice. So it pretty hard to beat that. I think the only other thing I would say is, so funny story, I was late on deadline talking to Coach Joe Paterno. Oh. And if anyone knew anything about Joe, unlike all the other coaches who got into an SUV or a limo after a game and drove home, Joe walked. So right. Joe would walk, and a lot of people would hang out in the tailgate areas and wait for him. So I kind of knew that, as a good reporter does. Right. And I waited for him to get a story for him. And it was actually, it was twofold. It was actually a feature story I was working for one of my professors in his class. And I told him what was going on. He said, "Come with me." So we start walking. Yeah. And he didn't talk to me much at all. We were walking through, people were saying hi to him and everything. And we start walking, we keep walking. He goes, "Have you ever met my wife?" And I said, "No." Yeah. So we walk to his house. And so he invites me in, we sit down, I talk to him and his wife for a while, and just the nicest people ever. I almost lost track of everything I was supposed to be doing, for the article in the paper, but wonderful experience. Compassion and always, you always want to remember that you never know what anybody else is going through. Yeah. I learned that from a few professors here. And, I think that's what Penn State does with any of its satellite campuses. And that's what I took most out of Shenango, was that close one-on-one, relationship that you can forge and get to know them on a level other than just student professor. Right. So I learned that. And that's something I've carried with me through my life. Keep an open mind to what you want to do in your life. Yeah. And, follow whatever your calling is. And, don't be pushed into something you don't want to do. Yeah. Don't succumb to the pressure of what someone else wants you to do. Follow your own light. We all have our own internal light, I believe, our own beacon. Follow whatever that tells you, because what your heart's telling you is what's right. Follow your heart before you follow your mind. So far, a month in, and we haven't, everything hasn't collapsed. So far, 1 month down, I'm doing good. Nobody's quit that I know of. So keep rocking on with that, right? No, I got involved. So I'm very good friends with Tim Jones, who's in the Alumni Society. We missed playing with each other on football by only a few years, but he was involved with Hickory football. I was involved there. We've known each other for a long time, and also Maggie Ferentz. I saw her one day at a gym, and we were talking about it, and she said, you should look into it. And then all of a sudden, I got a call from Tim saying, "Hey, I'm going to let Carl know that you're interested in joining," and that's kind of where it started. And I actually was a little oblivious to the fact that we had such active alumni societies with the satellite campuses. I've always been an alumni member. So is my wife. She just got her master's from Penn State and supply chain management. So we're both Penn Staters now.
Yeah.
And but what's just so special to me is how we can give back to the students. Yeah. And there was so much of that when I was a student that I am just beyond honored and willing to do whatever I can to help students now. And to help carry on, the great tradition of Penn State Shenango and what this means to our area and our community.
Right. Yeah. Speaking of, the giving back part, the Alumni Society just made a $2,000 gift to help start the golf program at the campus. And that's unreal. We can't, thank the society enough for your support, but, we just finished the golf outing, right? Can you talk about kind of the role that plays and your kind of vision for it the next couple of years?
Sure. The golf outing is, our biggest fundraiser, although I have some ideas on how to make a few more coming up that we'll discuss here at a couple of meetings and you and I will discuss. But yeah, it's great because you get so many people involved from the community that were Penn State students. And usually in this year's instance, we didn't have much time to get everybody signed up. We really only had technically about 3 weeks. Ideally, we were looking for 30 to 33 teams, and we still got, I think it was 21. So that was impressive. What I hope to do this coming year is we'll get a date set here soon. I would like to have that all done by, probably wrap that up before October gets here, a date, time, place, what we're going to do. And with, almost 10 months to prepare, I hope to get back up to 32 teams. There was a lot of compliments on how it was run this year. We ran a little bit differently. I think we're going to stick to that. And again, it was just so nice to see really a menagerie of different ages. I think a couple of our youngest golfers were in their 20s. I know for a fact that one of the best teams, I think only 3 of them graduated high school, was 3 years ago. And we had some people that were, in their 70s and knocking on 80's door.
Yeah, we had Paul Chatterton there.
Yeah, we had Paul Chatterton there. It was just amazing. Everybody got to come out and see Paul. And when somebody's special, when nearly everybody there dropped what they were doing just to come say hi and have a conversation with him. And we greatly appreciate him driving up from Virginia that day to do it as well. And I was even, the ripple effect throughout the community in the Shenango Valley and the Mahoning Valley area. The last couple of weeks, I've been talking to people I know he knows. I was like, hey, I saw Paul. Oh my gosh, how's he doing? And everybody knows Paul from like a Tri-County, Quad County area. Right. So yeah, that was special to have him there. We hope to have him again there next year. Right. And again, just we have a vision on doing a few different things, but really just the main thing is getting everybody there with all this again mixed with age groups. And keep seeing younger people come in. That was fantastic. It was one of the best parts of the outing this year.
Right. And if anyone watching this, we meet once a month on once you go ahead, you take it. Yeah.
So once a month, usually the second Saturday of the month, we meet on campus during the school year, and then off campus usually when school isn't in session. So kind of going back and forth with that a little bit, but we're going to do some fun things with that this year too. We're going to get a schedule set here soon. We're going to have a meeting with the officers where I'll get down. We'll get a schedule set up, and we'll get down and put some things down to paper on what we want to do. A couple different outings that we're going to plan to make it different than we have in the past, to give you more opportunities to join us and be with us. And I think, again, it's great having so many people. I think we're right now almost our roster. We have almost everybody full.
Yeah. We just voted 3 new people in. So we're pretty full. We've got about 25 to 30. So
And what's nice is you have, like you said, 25 to 30. That's 25 or 30 people that had some involvement with Shenango in their lives that want to get back and support the Shenango campus. And no offense against the other Commonwealth campuses, but I'd argue that we have some of the most passionate, loyal people in the Alumni Society for Shenango than anyone. Obviously, every year, we're doing the dance marathon. I've done that every year. I'll tell you, there's nothing more humbling than when I was a student. We actually, at the time, we went down to Hershey Medical Center and walked through the cancer wing. And if that doesn't humble you, seeing those kids go through what they were going through, so that's always something that's been in my head, my heart, and it's hard not to donate to it. But one of the great things we have at Shenango is a food pantry. So it's great to donate to that. I love bringing food down and drinks for the kids. We usually collect them each meeting. And then, that gives the students snacks and stuff like that. So when they're working late at campus studying or doing homework or meeting in a group study, they can go to the pantry and just pull out bag of snack or, pop up some popcorn or grab some drinks. And that's all there. So we help provide that. So they have that there.
Right. Yeah. And there's been rumors of Thon getting back at Shenango. So maybe I'm going to assume you'll be a nice part of that. So cool.
I'd be a huge supporter of that. Yeah, we did. And we had, I know we had Kelly Vasson Carruthers is her last name now. She was a big part of that back in the day. And it was always great to have like 1 or 2 people from each satellite campus there. So yeah, I really would like to see, and we had dancers. Dr. Joe Frank, he's down in Florida now. He was at Penn State Shenango and he was a dancer. So yeah, dance through satellite campus is great.
The last hard-hitting question here on Tide Talks. Darren, what is your favorite flavor of creamery ice cream?
So difficult. See, I'm a cookies and cream kind of guy. That's always my go-to. But if it's Penn State specific, I like the coffee break ice cream.
Okay.
But right now, this year, they have the BJC Jam. So it's a 25th anniversary of the Bryce Jordan Center, which dates me back as I remember when the Bryce Jordan Center was being built. But yeah, it's 25 years that it's been built. There's been a lot of great concerts. Some of them I've been a part of. It's been a lot of fun. And they have the BJC Jam. So it's vanilla ice cream with a raspberry swirl through it. It's great. Right now, my favorite. I hope they keep it on the menu.
Right. Well, sir, I cannot thank you enough. I'm excited for the next kind of 3 years of your presidency and seeing what we can do together. If anyone has, like to reach out to Darren, just shoot me an email at wtc5037@psu.edu. Any final words, my friend?
No, absolutely. Feel free to reach out to me. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are. If you have any idea about direction or what we can do to help further support the community and the campus, I'm all ears and open book. So yeah, reach out to Ty. And Ty, thanks a lot. It's been great being here today and being on this. And I look forward to working with you also in the next coming 3 or 4 years. We're going to do a lot of great things together.
That's right. All right. We are.
Penn State.
Thank you.
Thank you.